All three courts have games that matter, all, at least two, for different reasons. SIUC will now take on the SIUE B team here on Court B inside the Student Fitness Center, on the wider side of the Vidalabine Center inside the campus of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. SIUC makes the trip up to what used to be a satellite campus, is now arguably a larger campus, and has two separate squads here. There were originally supposed to be 10 teams at this invite. The Salukis withdrew one of their two, and now they are left with a larger main team rather than two individual teams. Both of these teams have lost to Mizzou, and it was exclusively off of point differential. So this is a match for second place in the group, and this is one that matters. To your right is Missouri S&T and Bradley. Wash U beat both of those teams. That is also a game for second place. And on your left is SIUE taking on Maryville. Both of those teams beat SEMO. That's a match for first place, or second place, depending on how you want to shape it. The bracket is a 6-team single elimination bracket. The two highest 1 seeds will get byes. The lowest 1 seed will play the lowest 2 seed. And the two middle 2 seeds will play each other. That's how the bracket looks. That's how this one's gone thus far. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Prepcast. My name is Daniel O'Deer. I'll be here to take you through the second of 3 games here. Covered SIUE and SEMO. That ended 2-0 SIUE to the A team. SIUE B just played Mizzou. They lost by a single point. And now they're trying to take off and take second place here against Carbondale. They've got the first point in their favor. A lot of similar names for the Cougar B team. SIU Carbondale has the largest roster that I've seen at the event, so watch out for them to make a furious amount of substitutions. I count 2 full rosters that they brought with them. Just for some comparisons, by the way, they have 12 players. SEMO brought 1 sub, and that was about a similar trip for the 2 of them. Schaefer will serve. Outside overhand hit, and an unsuccessful one there for the Carbondale outside. Carly Newsom-Holmes. Schaefer serves again. Madison Herkel and Becca Steinbach will do the setting for the Salukis. That one from well beyond the 10-foot line. Holly McDonald tried to get up there. The 6-foot senior out of Eureka, Illinois. Is not able to get that one over the net. It's a 6-2 for SIU Carbondale. Again, Herkel and Steinbach will do the setting there for SIUE. Significantly more limited roster. I believe 3 less players. They are just in a 5-1. Outside for Chakowski. That one gets down. Herkel tried to read it. Misreception. Herkel tries to dive out for it and avoid the Missouri S&T roster. The Miners seemingly are okay with them slightly intruding on the play. Again, this is a 9-team tournament. It is 3 groups of 3 on 3 separate courts. All those groups will then produce the top 2 seeds. The highest 1 seeds, 2 of them, will get first-round byes. The lowest 1 seed will get to play the lowest 2 seed. Carbondale gives over a free ball. Here are the Cougars. Schaefer all the way outside for Chakowski. Off the block. Off a tip from McDonald. And down. Schaefer still serving. 8-0 SIUE. And not a great reception from Carly Newsom-Holmes. Couple missed opportunities here for the Salukis in a very much needed timeout. Scoreless are the Salukis here through 9 points. Again, all the games going on right now do matter. S&T is beating Bradley 23-16. That's in set 1. We were the last of the game 3s to kick off. (24-16) now to S&T. I believe it's 12-11 between the Cougar A team and Maryville over on Court A. Awesome to see how club sports teams will support each other even across different schools. The way the groups work is if you are not actively playing, you are officiating. So on Court A, SEMO is officiating. Here on Court B, it's Mizzou officiating, and on Court C, it is the WashU squad officiating there. Schaefer set over towards the back corner. Good save, and just has to be tapped over. They're lucky that's played. Jacopa Harkar will keep it up, and a missed opportunity. The first mistake leads to the first point for the Cougars, into the point for the Tigers. Addison Benson, the second-year outside hitter. She served. Great put over by Chakowski. It's a first hit clear by Kolaski. Kolaski to the left side. McDonald's the one who put it over there. Same thing for Stott. McDonald again off the block. Kept up by Bozer. Looking for Harkar again. Snipes. And an over reception gives the Cougars a free ball. They're looking for Chakowski. Overhand reception. Back again for McDonald. Schaefer. Dump in. It works. Change of pace on a fairly long rally for the Cougars, one of the longer ones we've had thus far. Again, this is a game for second place in what you can consider Group B if you're grouping them based on the court they're playing on. Here's Newsom Holmes. Herkel to the outside again. McDonald's the one who put it there. Schaefer looking for Hernandez, or Sanchez Fernandez. That one got down. SIUE will continue to serve as Chakowski goes back. I said Tchaikovsky in the previous game. Not a composer, but very similar pronunciation. Got a quick clarification between matches. Apologies for the first game for those of you who may be related. Put over that time by Sanchez Fernandez, who dances her way away from the antenna. SIUE with the point there. At this point, SIUE on a streak, if they weren't already. 9 straight to open the set. 3 consecutive since the mistake they made. Chakowski still serving. Kolaski again for McDonald. Rollover, got down just inside the line. McDonald's the one who first receives, and a miscommunication. Herkel was looking to set. Addison Benson, the outside, was saying, I do not want to be making that call. Saluki still looking for a breath amongst them. A couple communication errors, certainly not helping their case. SIUE another point. And the mental boom thus far for the Salukis seemingly evident. Herkel trying to rally the troops. They haven't even made enough rotations to require their second setter. Now it looks like they will as soon as I say it. So Becca Steinbach will enter. She will take over the technical duties of Carly Newsom Holmes just to stay on the back row. And now entering is Gabby Colonna. She'll take over the front row duties of Herkel, where Herkel would have been. Give you a funny conversation I had with Kelowna in just a second. Outside this time for Kelowna. Nothing doing there. Outside for Harkar now, off the block and down. Thompson's the one who went up for it. Couldn't get it there. Having a conversation with Kelowna, again, if you were here for either of the first two games, there's only limited information on club sports teams, so I had a conversation and kind of just handed my roster to most of those teams saying, hey, can you fill this out? Tell me where you're from, what year you are, how tall you are, all the fun stuff. What position you play mostly. In Kelowna, her name was spelled originally on the roster I got C-O-L-N-A, C-O-L-A-N-A, which you'd imagine would be pronounced Kalana. And I said, hey, how do you pronounce your last name? Is it Kalana or Kalena? And she goes, oh, it's Kelowna, like Corona with an L. I said, that's pretty simple. So, again, I appreciate all the teams we've covered here, both SIUE teams, the SEMO roster earlier, especially the Mizzou team, who we did not plan on streaming, and they had to fill out their entire roster, number, name, and all. Mizzou got another point. That one was just thrown off the block. Talk about finding your target. Looked like it was Peyton Gutting who got up for that one. The kill, that is. Court A is still catching up with us, or we are still catching up with Court A officially. 21, looks like 17 between SIUE and Maryville. SIUE is leading on that front. That is a game to take first place in Group A. In Group C, they are also in set 2 after a fairly quick set 1. Missouri S&T won set 1 pretty handedly and is leading 5-1 in set 2. Deliberation or two, I'm not sure what the conversation was. We finally restarted. 16-5 here from Court B. And a free ball for the Cougars. Bozer, Schaefer, Chakowski. A tap over and a miscommunication amongst the Salukis means another free ball for the Salukis, for the Cougars, sorry, and a net error. It looked like it was called on Anna Niemeyer. The St. Elmo native makes the rare mistake. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even see what she did. Tap up, but it's a third touch that is not enough to get it over the net. SIUE now with 18 points and on their way to picking up a high 2 seed. Win here would be great. Ace here is better, at least for the time being. SIUE is in a prime position, really both of these teams are, to take the 2 seed. Because they lost by so little already to Mizzou. Anything they win by would be great. Rollover, that's just beyond the line. The call was made by Ava Giesman. Our officials, if I can snipe out their numbers, Abby Kirschkin is the up official. The down official looks to be Lainey Fenton. The far line judge is Cameron Dussel. And again, it's Ava Giesman, the close line judge. Again, it's just Mizzou players. The only reason I have that is because we already covered Mizzou and I had their roster sitting right in front of me. Awkward reception. Paula Bozer had to determine whether she wanted to try and dig that one out or roll over the scorer's table. It was probably difficult to set up and has a lot of paperwork on it. She chose probably keeping her footing. Not the most important point for SIUE with a 12-point lead as it stands. That one off the tape. Unfortunate break for the Cougars. Catherine Stott said, hey, that's going over my head. Let me duck. As she did so, it went off the tape on the top of the net and then promptly fell at her feet while she was still ducking out of the way. Ace for Madison Herkel. 5-5 setter with back-to-back aces now. Looks around saying, yeah, I totally meant to do that. That was intentional. The South Elgin, Illinois native continues to serve. 21-year-old setter on a little bit of a streak herself. As she does so, back-to-back aces turns into a service error. And now a challenging one for the Salukis. 20-9 SIUE B. SIUE A team just won set one against Maryville, 25-20. That's a game for first place in the group. Good set back, that's just on the line. Herkel clarifying that it was indeed in. It was Saluki point to get to at least double digits. Lizzie Hill now in for the first time. She'll head back to serve. She takes over the outside duties of Addison Benson, more than likely a defensive specialist here for the Salukis. She's on the back row right now. That's Kolaski. Outside for McDonald. Big swing. Gets it down. Lizzie Hill still serving. Saluki's still alive. Again, both of these teams split sets with Mizzou. Mizzou won on point differential in both of them. Parkar nearly runs into a Bradley Brave. Avoids that, but also unfortunately avoids playing the ball correctly or safely at that point. Another Saluki point. Hill still serving. The Nokomis, Illinois native. 5'8" first year. Overserves everybody. 21-12. So that is to say, it is more than likely both of these teams will be the lowest remaining 2 seed. The more you win by now, the more likely you are to be a higher remaining 2 seed. Back set. Chakowski just overhands it over herself. Square into the net that time for Newsom Holmes. The Dixon, Tennessee native could not clear the top tape. Chakowski serves again. 22-12 SIUE. McDonald, a lot less power on this one. She just had to tap it over and keep it alive. SIUE somehow avoids the net. No, they don't. Clarification amongst the Mizzou officials. There was a conversation between Sanchez Fernandez and the up and down official saying, did I touch the net? Well, Kershkin did not have the greatest angle for it. Fenton did, as the down official. She saw the hands hit the net. So net violation called promptly into a block for Holly McDonald. The 6-foot senior takes full advantage of the 72 inches that Jeans provided her. Back to serve Kolaski. Awkward reception for the Cougars means a free ball for the Salukis. Set down Broadway, hunting for Bozer, who keeps it up. Now Sanchez Fernandez just beyond the line. Just barely missed. The Salukis giving themselves head nods saying, that may have been in play. We may have gotten away with one here. A couple Cougar fans sitting next to me in the bleachers maybe thought that too. They still say ball don't lie, and another service error for Kolaski. Gives the Cougars the ball. Gives them the serve and gives them their 23rd point. Bozer's serve. Back set, an awkward one. Punched over everybody. Cougar point, 24-15. This is set point for the Cougars. Bozer's trying to serve this one out. Kolaski does receive, but awkwardly, and miscommunication amongst Newsom Holmes and Lizzie Hill will cost the Salukis the opportunity at coming back. 25-15 in the first set. This is the final game of pool play. We will not, unfortunately, be here for playoff action. There's still a whole lot of volleyball ahead of us. One set to go. SIUE trying to guarantee themselves a playoff spot. A win in set 2 or a better point differential in the match, and they've done it. We'll take a break and come back here on Prepcasts. Set 2 rearing and ready to go. The other two courts already well into set 2. Missouri S&T's got a 13-point lead over Bradley. They will almost certainly be the highest 2 seed. As of right now, SIUE and Maryville. Looks like Maryville has an 8-3 lead in set 2, but SIUE won set 1 25-20. So if I was doing some quick inventory, if SIUE wins their game, they will be the second seeded 1 seed. They will get a bye alongside Mizzou. Maybe Wash U. I didn't see what the first Wash U game ended in as I was on the far court. Wash U is 2-0, they're done. Mizzou is 2-0, they're done. SIUE's A team is actively playing Maryville in set 2 of that match. Winner gets the last remaining 1 seed. Loser becomes the 2 seed. Here on court 2, the Salukis and the Cougar B team continue to play. Cougars in red and white with their libero in black and white. The Salukis in a charcoal gray with maroon and their libero in maroon and black. First point still underway, and A slight miss, I think we'll call that one, from Addison Benson. She carried it over the down official. Just did not complete that one. She's still got her head in her hands. LSU's will get her first time spent in play. They'll go right to her, right over everybody. The middle misses just a bit. The 6-foot first year. Their first real action in game 2 for the Salukis. Again, there are 9 teams here on the campus of Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. In front of you, you see 3 of them. Depending on how far the camera pans left, you may see 6. Over to Court A. Mizzou, the officials, have already beaten both of these teams. If you're not playing, you're officiating. General rule of thumb for events similar to this. Serve for Lizzie Hill. They'll look down the middle. That was Stott who tried to put it off the block. SIUE will get a free ball. Schaefer to set again. Looking back for Stott. Decently received, but Steinbach realized there wasn't a whole lot I could do there. And even if Steinbach did receive correctly, they would have been attacking out of system on the Saluki side. It would have been a difficult feat regardless. Serve again for Tchaikovsky. It was Bozer who just dove over everybody, couldn't get it down. So SEMO's day is really unofficially done. They will finish officiating that game and probably head back to the Cape. Loser of this one will be done as well. Again, SIUE won 25-15 in set 1. The Salukis will have to match or better that to become the 2 seed here. They've already got a significantly better start, to understate the obvious, than set 1 earlier. 9-0 start, then 12-1 after that. It just did not get any better for the Salukis. They kept it at about a 10-point deficit, but never really improved from that juncture. Back set for Harkar. Tipped off the block and kept up. Underhand over to McDonald. McDonald couldn't finish it. She's blocked down. SIUE takes the lead. Missouri S&T is about to send Bradley back up to Peoria. And ironically enough, as I say that, it is a tip off the top of the net and an ace for number 15 of Missouri S&T. I apologize. We were not planning on covering S&T, so we didn't get a roster for them. Can't give credit where it's due. So S&T takes the last remaining 2 seed. Bradley's headed home. They get swept by S&T, and I believe by WashU as well. SIUE and Maryville are at a 9-8 click in set 2 there. And the Salukis, after tying things up here, send Madison Herkel, the South Elgin 5-5 setter, back to serve and get another service ace. Playoffs are set to start, I believe, at 11 a.m. It'll be the first round between the lowest remaining 1 seed and highest 2 seed, or lowest 1 seed and lowest 2 seed, and then the 2 neutral 2 seeds will play each other. Then they'll play the 1 seeds who get a bye, and then our semifinals. Into the finals. The 1 seeds with the bye are already in the semifinals. One of those is WashU. Assuming SIUE doesn't absolutely trounce Maryville in set 2, it should be WashU. But before we head out, I'll look to get as much clarification on that as I can. Again, we won't be here for the playoffs, unfortunately. Too much unpredictability in terms of scheduling, who's going to play when, whether both SIUE teams could be covered at the same time. Speaking of SIUE, they picked the point off there. (6-5) to the Cougars. Mackenzie Jones, the Winchester, Illinois native and defensive specialist, forces a miscommunication, finds the only hole between Holly McDonald and the libero, Kira Koloski. Kolaski. Kolaski, the Wisconsin native, now receives. Outside for McDonald. That one goes just long to the far line. Hill, good back set. Really good back set by Herkel. Allows Kaylee Cochran to get involved. The St. Louis native, really a home game for her. Metro East side of things. Allows Holly McDonald to head back and serve. The senior outside hitter has a good one, but a put over and a clean put over by Schaefer on a second hit attack. The sophomore showing a little bit more experience than maybe the year would tell you. Allows Skylar Mercer, the true freshman, to enter and serve. Listed as a defensive specialist, occasionally picks up some setting duties. But with Brooke Schaefer, who really needs to pick that off. Here, Bozer will just have a second hit attack from well beyond the 10-foot line and a put back on an over reception. That's Peyton Gutting to do so. Again, Skylar Mercer getting some of her first points played. The Riverton, Illinois native. Good couple of serves. That's right on the line. Kolaski thought it was headed long. Looked like she judged wrong. SIUE gets the point there. 11-6 Cougars on this court. Looks like 15-12. Make it 16-12 Cougars on the other court. Kolaski receives there. Herkel, just to keep it up, has to be a standing put over by Addison Benson. Cougars will give over a free ball as well. It's a discount store on court B. Who takes advantage? Off the block and down is Kylie McBride, who gets some of her first minutes. Similarly, a home game for her, the Bethalto, Illinois native. Gets the point and play on the right side is clean. Looks like Kolaski was trying to aim for the short side near Peyton Gutting. Couldn't find the target she was looking for. Puts it straight into the net. Still a 5-point game. For all of you enjoying some matinee club volleyball with us here on Prepcast, we appreciate you taking the time. For all of you who are watching on the record, well, after this has actually happened, we appreciate you hanging out with us whatever time or day you are. These are archived for 2 years in the Prepcast network. You had a little while to watch some tape if you'd like to do that on the background. Herkel off the block. It was Kolaski to put it back. Just a tap over everybody. Tap over and out of play for Addison Benson. The Shorewood, Illinois outside hitter. Another attacking error. That time well received and a miscommunication. Herkel was trying to sprint her way out to get there. She couldn't do so. Kylie McBride was ready to play it. Looked like she was called off. If you get called off by your setter, you better let him play it. Similar to how if the shortstop calls off the infield or the center fielder calls off anybody in the outfield. It's a similar case. Unfortunate break there for Herkel, now on back-to-back points. It went off the tape, and at that point, Kolaski was in a good spot. If Herkel didn't let it go off the tape, or if it didn't go off the tape, Herkel would have been better suited to play it. A couple unfortunate breaks here for the Salukis means it's a 9-point game. It's a better start in set 2 for SIU Carbondale, but they've not had nearly as much success since then. Good put down for Ellis Hughes. The Andalusia, Illinois native. Will allow Steinbach to enter. Herkel will take a very well-deserved break as the Salukis go back into their 6-2 rotation. That one just inside the back line. Steinbach gets the ace. The St. Joseph, Illinois native. And the fourth-year setter here for the Salukis. Looking for another. Miscommunication and over-reception there for the Cougars. Nearly off the tarp above everything. A dive to save once, make it twice. Cougars will give over a free ball. It will stay in play. Kolaski, Steinbach, outside and down for Addison Benson. Return to form for Benson. Couple momentum points for the Salukis, no less. Steinbach serves again. And a put over and a clean one again for Brooke Schaefer. The Salukis are always so ready with Schaefer having her back to the net. For Schaefer to just set it and then jump for somebody else. Nobody got in position, and no man's land lives up to its name once more. Schaefer serves. She'll look to carry everybody. Kolaski forced a mistake. Benson off the net. It was just off the net. It was a deliberation whether it was touched by the Cougars or not. Both officials said didn't look like it. The net just constricted so much it recoiled back in the direction of the Salukis. So officially 4 touches and 18 points now for the Cougars. Set for the middle. Just has to be put over for free. Harkar with the right hand. She's left-handed. Put it over. That one looked like it was outside the antenna. It was. Our line judges will make the signal, albeit without flags. It did not clear the inside of the antenna, and SIUE gets the point. Again, officially out of play as it wasn't put between the antennae. Still absurd to me, by the way. The plural for antenna is antennae. Hit from the outside. That time around, it looked like Kelowna. That one just inside the antenna. Miscommunication amongst the Salukis. Steinbach was trying to set up Hughes. Hughes thought Steinbach was putting it over herself on a dump-in. Either way, it's a Cougar point, and it gives the Cougars 20 points. Schaefer still serving, by the way. 20-10. Cougars have doubled up the Salukis and are looking for a higher 2 seed if they can find it. That one up the left side wouldn't have mattered anyway. It was a net violation for the Salukis, 21 to the Cougars. Schaefer's been a stellar server. The sophomore out of Newton, Illinois, has made very few mistakes in both matches now. That one goes just long at the far line. I say a stellar server and few mistakes, and she immediately makes a service error. I'd like to apologize to Brooke Schaefer. We'll give the Salukis another opportunity to make a rotation. They've had a couple streaks, but have not had a lot of individual side outs, which means not a whole lot of rotations. Only a few different servers for him. That one off the block, kept up. This play continues. Outside for McDonald. Enough topspin to get it down, make it 12-21. Salukis still serving, but still trailing by a hefty margin. With the first set score, the Cougars have guaranteed themselves the second seed in this group. Regardless of how this one officially ends, the Cougars will take the 2 seed behind Mizzou. Salukis could still win the set. However, the point differential would be at least 7, if not more than that, in favor of the Cougars. So we're technically only playing for official seeding at this juncture. Over reception means a free ball for the Salukis. Outside for McDonald again. Give her a second try. She goes off the antenna, and the Cougars will get the points. Not even a whistle needed on that front. Everybody starts twirling their fingers like they're asking for a review in basketball. Tchaikovsky to serve. The outside hitter from Decatur has been great from the outside, great from beyond the line. McDonald tried her darndest at it, but the timing wasn't there, and on the way down, she just put it straight to the net. I'll try and pull a Kevin Harlan if anybody understands that reference and say I'm calling both games as the Cougars are on set point here. Set down Broadway, block is kept up. Schaefer back for Harkar trying to close it, can't do so. Salukis win the point there. Maryville is serving for the set against the Cougars. It would make it 1-1, and if anything would ruin the Cougars' day, but that's 24-24 on the Cougars' side. The max number, by the way, is 30 points if they get into extra time required. Put over that time by Cochran. Outside for Sanchez Fernandez, and she just puts it over. Free ball for the Salukis. They're trying to take advantage. Schaefer outside again for Sanchez Fernandez. Hill. Good put up by Steinbach and then McDonald. Cougars get the point next to us. They're trying to close out the set here. One touch is the difference. It's outside the antenna. That'll do it. Cougars sweep the Salukis. 25-13. Cougars end up with 3 sets total. Mizzou will take the 1 seed out of Group B. But how goes the other Cougar game? Maryville trying to close it there. I've at least got the Cougar roster for that side. We'll see if we can finish that game here as well. It's just off your left. That's where you're looking. That one just inside the line for Maryville. It's 25 all there. So in Group B, to finish off this side of the broadcast, SIU Carbondale will drop both of the sets here against the Cougars and one of the sets against Mizzou. So they finish at 1-3 in sets played. The Cougar B team will finish at 3-1 in sets played. And ironically, it looks like it's Mizzou who has not guaranteed themselves a victory. I'm not sure if the tiebreaker is based off of matches won and then sets won, or sets won then matches won. We'll try and get clarification for you after this Cougar game ends next to us. 26-25 SIUE A team over Maryville. Rebecca Atchley with a serving error makes it 26 all. Again, most of that game is on the far left of your frame. The game we covered is over. That one just long of the line. Another service opportunity for the Cougars to end it 27-26 on that far side. It's Brianna Hewing. Free ball for the Cougars. A dump in, maybe trying to close it. That one will go outside the line. Cougars win. 28-26 on Court A. That's how set 2 ends 2-0 for the Cougar A team over Maryville. It was 25-15 and 25-13 here on Court B. That's how the Cougar B team beat the Salukis. So that's it for both of those games. Every group play game has finished. We're going to take a quick break, see if I can't find the bracket for you, just to give you a lay of the land for anybody who may want to attend the bracket play here from the Student Fitness Center inside the Vidal Bean Center on the campus of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. We'll be back in just a second. Group play is over here from the Student Fitness Center inside the Vidal Bean Center on the campus of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. There were 3 groups. In Group A, SIUE A team swept both Maryville and SEMO. They will be one of the 2 teams with a bye in the first round. On Group C, Wash U swept Missouri S&T and Bradley. They will be the 2nd team with a bye. In Group A, it was Maryville as the 2 seed. They should be, and I will say should be hesitantly, they should be playing the Missouri S&T Bears, or Miners, in that game at noon. Here on Group B, which we saw both of the final 2 games of, SIUE's B team split with Mizzou, but Mizzou won the match. Mizzou also split with the Salukis, and they won the match there. So despite the fact the Cougars won more sets, they did not win as many matches. So it should be Mizzou as the 1 seed, and the Cougars will be one of the 2 neutral 2 seeds. Whether it's Missouri S&T or whether it is Maryville to play Mizzou, either way, the SIUE B team will be playing at noon. If I've done my bracketology correctly, and I believe I have, the SIUE A team will get a bye alongside Wash U, and both of those games will happen at 1. 6 teams make it to the gold bracket. Top 2 seeds get byes. 2 games at noon, 2 games at 1, and our championship will be at 2 p.m., all here from the Student Fitness Center. That's all for our coverage here on Prepcasts. Roundabout done as the gym continues to clear as well. Again, quarterfinals with 4 teams at noon, semifinals with those extra 2 teams who got byes, and 4 teams total. Those will be at 1, and the finals here inside the gym will be at 2 p.m. We encourage you to attend in person. You've got about an hour to make it to the quarterfinals, at least 2 hours to make it to the semifinals. So if you're in the greater St. Louis / Cape Girardeau / really anywhere around Missouri, you could probably make it here in time. That'll be it for us here on Prepcast. Again, I'm Daniel Rodier. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on Prepcast. Still a lot more to cover for SIUE club sports when we possibly get to club basketball in the winter. We tried to cover men's volleyball in the spring, but didn't even get around to that last year. Hopefully we'll see you in a couple weeks. Next time SIUE has club sports is when they host Creighton University on the 14th and 15th of November. They will then host Mizzou the following weekend just before Thanksgiving. Hopefully we'll see you then. That's it for SIUE's club sports coverage here. SIUE A sweeps both, and they get a bye. SIUE B, they split 1 and sweep the 2nd. They will play at noon here on the campus of SIUE. We'll see you in just under a month for some hockey here on Prepcasts.